Back in. So, my name is Cody Jones, and welcome back to the podcast. Normally, I would have someone with me. I would have Michael on this, or I would have Daquan on this, or even Luna Arts Game. Originally, I had intended to bring Luna Arts Gaming onto this episode because he wanted to be on some episodes with me doing interviews. But unfortunately, because I'm here right now, we're going to continue that. But today, we have a very special guest showing up for this episode. His name is Antwon King. Born in Inglewood and raised in Los Angeles, California, Antwon King was born to do music. His mother and father were both avid music lovers, and always played music and song and R&B tunes blasted from the stereo constantly, which made his appreciation for music. One day, his babysitter at the time put on a record that would change his life. The record was called Eric B. is President. For those of you who don't know, Eric B. was a member of Eric B. and Rakim. Antwon King is not new to the music scene. He has been perfecting his craft for 11 years. He has accolades that are very impressive. He is a triple award-winning hip-hop artist. In 2006, he won a Southern California Award for Music. Southern California Music Award, Best Hip-Hop Artist. In 2008, he was nominated for 5 Maverick Awards, and he was a featured performer on the award show. In the 2016, he won the Word of the Street Award for his music at the Ventura Country Music Awards. In 2017, he won the Best R&B Award for his music. Sorry, fucking completely fucked up. He has been featured on dubcnn.com, raptalk.net, and various other websites. He was also featured on MTV2, Sucker Free Freestyle, Rap, Acapella. I hope my music helps at least one person and gives them inspiration to keep pushing even when times are tough. It's a bad time for this country, this economy, and the people of all. He states, I want to be a voice of hope and still make you dance. When Antwon is not performing, he is a devoted husband and father of 3 beautiful daughters. Honestly, man, when I hit the dude up on Instagram the very first day, I, I didn't know you were listening.
Oh yeah, I was listening, man. How you doing?
Right, hold on, can you hear me good?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you good.
Perfect. Yeah, I can hear you just fine, man.
Alright, cool. So it's like I was doing a bit of a background check for the listeners who are not familiar with you.
Got you. Appreciate that, man.
No problem. Alright, so first off, you've been living in California, and not only that, Los Angeles your whole life. And honestly, for those who do not know, what was LA like growing up? I mean, I imagine that you've seen everything from the best moments to the worst moments.
Yeah, man. Growing up in LA at the time I grew up in LA, it
Mm-hmm.
was rough. It was rough. Gang banging is at an all-time high. Drug dealing and drugs is everywhere.
Yeah,
Certain neighborhoods, you see family members change, because it definitely affected the family. But thankfully, I had sports. I wasn't into banging. I wasn't into selling drugs.
yeah,
You have friends you go to school with. You got cousins and stuff. They pick different paths.
yeah.
But I was into basketball, man. That's what I did, and that's how I operated in LA. But it was no joke. It was no joke, and it definitely affected my family, man. definitely.
Yeah, and I did recently watch Snowfall, and I saw how like horribly impactful crack cocaine was in the 80s.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. You would see like your family members change, your older aunties, older uncles,
Yeah,
whoever messed with it turned look inside out. It tore up neighborhoods.
yeah,
Just growing up in that environment, it was crazy.
yeah,
Crazy dealing with drive-bys and different things like that. But as dangerous as it was, we also had a lot of fun, man. It
yeah,
wasn't all gloom and doom. It was all we knew.
yeah,
We always found a way to just enjoy it. Go to the park, go swimming at the pools.
yeah,
We was into doing flips and stuff on different people's grass. Everybody going playing basketball, ding dong ditch. We having water fights at the park. We still found a way to enjoy ourselves, even though it was a lot of dangerous stuff going on in the neighborhood.
yeah. That's really dope, man. And I'm very curious how the name Antwon King even came to be. Like, I'm very curious, like, if that was your like birth name.
Yeah, that's my birth name.
Oh
Birth
shit!
name.
Oh
Yeah,
shit!
I'm from the King family. My father, Gary King. Shout out to my dad. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm from the family, King family. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
absolutely. It's my real name.
That's really dope, man. So you were inspired. You were inspired by Eric B. And obviously, it's like Eric B. and Rakim were like one of the biggest like hip hop names like in the 80s and 90s.
Hear me?
All right, did you hear me?
There you go. There you go. I kind of lost your picture for a second, but I see you now.
All right, it's like I'm going back and forth between this and Spotify, like trying to get every bit of detail I can get right.
No
All
problem.
right, so you were inspired by Rakim and Eric B. Like, I'd imagine that a whole lot of New York rappers were really like blowing up in California.
Oh yeah, especially Eric B and Rakim.
Mm-hmm.
Eric B as president has more of a West Coast sound anyway. If
Yeah.
you listen to the bass line of Eric B as president, don't
Mm-hmm.
don't. So you would hear all these dudes with these cars, getting them tricked out, get the big speakers in them, and they're
Yeah.
playing it rolling down the street. And so a babysitter of mine, I'll never forget, she put it on.
Mm-hmm.
She had the single, and I played it every day. I
Yeah.
played that song every day. So Rakim was probably the first
Mm-hmm.
rapper to inspire me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Even to this day, I'm still inspired by what he did. He was just performing, I think, at Carnegie Hall in a suit, top hat, still
Yeah.
doing it at his age. It's incredible to see. But
Yeah.
you can tell he loves the craft.
Yeah.
This is an art form to him. He's not just in it to try to see how much money he can get. He
Yeah.
loves it, and you can tell.
He's doing
So
it for
yeah,
the culture.
Rakim is a big, big inspiration. Big
Yeah.
inspiration.
Yeah. And that's really dope because like it's funny because growing up as a kid, like me being a little bit of a thief when I was a kid, I used to get into my brother's stuff, and he had this little disc CD player, and like for some reason, the first thing I heard was "California Love" by Tupac and Dr. Dre.
Oh man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
he's one of my biggest inspirations as well.
yeah,
Tupac Shakur, just the range what he talks about.
yeah,
He talks about it all, the good, the bad, the ugly, and
hmm,
that's what I try to do in my music. I don't want it all to be roses and sunshine, but I
yeah,
also don't want it all to be gloom and doom and violence and just disrespecting women all the time. We
yeah,
could talk about life. We could talk about real life.
yeah,
You know what I mean? We don't always have to get into character and be something we really not. I don't want to
yeah.
do that. I don't want to have to become somebody else to
I
do
agree.
music. And Pac showed a lot of different sides. Dear
Yeah,
Mama, Brenda's got a baby, all the way to hit him up. He showed you anger, he showed you compassion, he
yeah,
showed you everything. So my music to be like that. If I was going to do it, I wanted to be realistic and really be able to get stuff off my chest.
Yeah,
So that's why when you hear a song like Roses or you hear a song like Climbing Higher, like it's not me getting in the character. I'm
yeah,
giving you the honest truth. This is really my life and things that I've been through and how I really feel.
yeah. And I really dig that style because it seems like a great blend of both Biggie and Tupac in your music. It's like you got these little party jammers that Biggie did, but you also have this like storytelling craft that Pac did, and it's like,
Absolutely.
yeah, and I dig that.
And that's on purpose.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. That's on purpose, man. Biggie Smalls, Notorious Big, Life After Death,
hmm,
one of the most perfect hip hop albums I've ever heard.
I agree.
The storytelling, as far as he made it like a movie. It was like
Yeah,
a movie. If you really listen to it, it's crazy. Somebody's got to die. If you listen to it, the sound effects in the background, you can hear the rain.
yeah,
You hear the doors opening. Like it's crazy the level of detail he put into that music. So I always wanted to incorporate that. Have my
yeah,
storytelling joints, but also have stuff that you can bob your head to, play at a barbecue with
yeah,
with your little nieces and nephews running around.
yeah,
I want to have music for every different age, to be honest.
yeah. For every mood and every vibe that I go and film. I agree. And hip,
Absolutely.
yeah, and
Absolutely.
Hypnotize being one of the biggest songs in his music.
Yeah. And if you listen to Hypnotized, it sounds like a West Coast beat. If you want to be honest, like if you put on Hypnotized, it has a very West Coast sound.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree.
he has with Jay-Z on the album, I Love the Dough. That's a
Hmm.
very West Coast sounding record.
Yeah.
Going back to Cali, of course, but you could tell he had a lot of West Coast influence in his music, and I
Hmm.
think that's what drew him to us.
Yeah.
Like we were very Biggie Smalls, despite the Tupac and Biggie beef and all that, we
Yeah.
like both of their music.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of curious, like, who you think won that shit. I mean, obviously, both sides absolutely took a huge loss. But I mean, on a
Hated
musical
that.
note, I'm curious about your opinion on that.
I think it's on me favorite album of all time. That's my personal favorite album of all time. Tupac, All Eyes on Me. That's
Yeah.
an album I'll never get tired of. I still listen to it. It just has so many joints on there that I really, really like.
Yeah.
So I may be biased when I say, and I'm from LA. I'm born and raised in Los Angeles. I don't want to sound biased. I
Yeah.
love Biggie Smalls. I hate that happened. And
Hmm.
another trip thing about that day that he died on my mother's birthday, man.
Damn.
He died on my mother's birthday. We was waking up, about to celebrate my mom's birthday. I'm in the car in the back seat, and they come across the radio saying Biggie Smalls was killed early this morning,
Yeah.
leaving the Soul Train Awards, and that just tore us up because he was getting better. He was
Yeah.
getting better, better. So we were fans of him too.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to go with Pac just being that, you know, music definitely inspired.
Yeah. And yeah, and not like us being one of the biggest diss songs. I still personally think that "Hit 'Em Up" is one of the coldest, most ruthless fucking diss tracks in hip hop history.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That and No Vaseline to me. No
Oh,
Vaseline, Ice Cube, I don't know if everyone watching this has seen the Straight Outta Compton movie. If you haven't seen it, please go see it.
hmm,
But this record is incredible.
yeah,
It's almost second to none. Like he did a hell of Ice Cube did a hell of a job on that. And I love NWA.
yeah,
All of them are legends, but that record is just he wrote his ass off when he wrote that. That was
yeah,
incredible.
yeah. And some of the fucking punchlines that he directed towards his own friends were like at the same time amusing, like an Easy's dick smelling like MC's wrench shit.
Yeah, it was the sample he used, the way he
Hmm.
started the record, like he ain't no joke.
Yeah,
I love Ice Cube. I love his music. Always been a fan.
yeah. And for those who do not know, Ice Cube was once part of the group called NWA, which is also another like personal favorite group of mine next to Bone Thugs. But I mean, NWA, they fucking made gangster rap what it is today.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And they took like underground street music
hmm
and they made it mainstream
yeah,
because music like that wasn't getting played on the radio like that. Actually, a lot of their music didn't get played on the radio when they
yeah,
were first starting off. More like an underground LA group. And then when they blew up and they put the money behind them,
hmm
it went crazy. You know, it was almost like taboo to have an NWA record in your house
yeah,
because they were so, you know, police and everything like that. So NWA really set it off as far as like gangster music, in my opinion. They
yeah,
say Schoolie D from Philadelphia had a big hand in it. You know,
hmm
shout out to him. I think he's still living. If not, rest in peace to him. But
yeah,
they say Schoolie D from Philly, but way, man, they kicked them doors open for gangster
yeah,
rap. They definitely did.
yeah. And they were the first group to ever like legally say fuck the police and not have a problem with it too.
Right, and tour and go to different arenas performing it, and you know because growing up in LA, you have a dislike for the police.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest. You know, I've had more guns pulled on me by police officers than anybody else,
yeah,
and this is you know just coming home from basketball practice, not doing nothing, never having committed a crime, and
yeah.
people get harassed by the police out there with a
Just because,
quickness.
yeah,
So he, it deserves the bad rap it gets.
yeah,
Definitely does.
yeah. Hey, hold up real quick. Let me be sure to put these on because like the audio is like it's going in and out. So hold on. Okay, so this will sound better. Can you hear me good?
I can hear you.
All right, excellent. Okay, and that's another thing I want to discuss. You're not signed to any label, which is like amazing because there's a whole lot of artists that are not even signed to anyone because clearly, like everyone prefers to be independent.
Oh yeah, independence is the way to go, especially right now. You want to
Hmm
own as much as you can, you
Yeah,
know. And for me, I have children. I would rather leave stuff to them than put it in the hands of the record label. These record labels been coming up off of our talent for years, years, and years.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, we get blinded looking at how much money can I make. I want to be famous and I want to get millions of dollars. And sometimes you can get blinded by that and sign these horrible contracts and having to hire lawyers to fight for your best interest when you could have
exactly.
just stayed independent and built it brick by brick. So what if it takes you longer? So what if you're not in the mainstream light like these other artists? But you got to understand, a lot of these big artists, a lot of people are taking pieces of their check that you
Yeah,
don't know about,
yeah,
splitting that money in so many ways you have no clue. So a lot of times we see it all the time where these artists are upset with their labels, splitting with their labels, filing lawsuits against their labels. So I
yeah.
like the independent mindset because to be honest, this is my art. I'm creating it. I'm writing it.
hmm
I decide when I want to put it out. I decide who I'm going to do my records with. You know, I like being in the driver's seat because it's my music.
Yeah,
You know, I don't think it's fair that you create this music, you put your blood, sweat, and tears in it, and then someone else owns it and controls it.
yeah. I
Your
agree.
family is left fighting for it later, and this is something that you created. That's crazy. Think
That's some
about a
bullshit.
regular artist, somebody who paints pictures.
Yeah,
Think about that. Like if they're an artist and they're painting pictures, and I come to them and say, "Hey, give me that. I'm gonna sell it, and then I own it.
that's some
I
bullshit
own
right
it
there.
like that. Crazy." So nah, nah, nah. So I
Yeah.
like being independent, and even if I was to ever deal with a label or anything,
hmm
I need to I want to retain ownership. No ifs, ands, buts about it.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to be your own boss, call your own shots and everything.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think every artist should look at things that way. You know, these
Yeah.
labels, they've been making enough money off our ancestors, off of all the
hmm
musicians that you can't even watch a damn documentary that has to do with musicians without the labels being in the mix, doing something shady, taking their money. Almost every
Exactly.
artist you can think of that's a legendary artist has had problems with record labels. You know,
Exactly.
you pay for your studio time. When you sign these contracts, you pay for your studio time. They make you pay for your beats. You're paying to get on the play. Like you're paying for it anyway.
Yeah.
Paying for it anyway, because even if they give you the money up front, they're going to expect you to pay that money back.
Exactly.
So
And either
it's
that or
and
mhm.
go ahead.
And either that you're also like getting screwed by the people that you thought would trust you. I mean, it's like the same thing happened with Elton John, how he thought like his own manager was someone that he can trust, but really that person was fucking taking money from him.
Absolutely, and they'll do backdoor deals, the lawyers included, with these
Mhm.
labels.
Exactly.
So we too grown out here to still be making the same mistakes as the people who came before us. They kind of gave us the blueprint. Shoot, if you saw Ray with Jamie Foxx, the Ray Charles
Mhm.
story, if you watch that and see how that goes, and all the just the shady stuff. I just watched a documentary on I think it's on Prime,
Mhm.
my bad, about Stax Records. If you haven't seen
Mhm.
it and you listening to this, go see it. Stax
All right.
Records on Hulu. Watch it. Uh, you know the song Otis.
Yeah, I
Song
know it.
Otis with Jay-Z and Kanye. The sample. Go watch and you'll see how that song was made, the artist behind it, Otis Redding, rest in peace. Um,
Yeah.
Label, that whole sound. Isaac Hayes was on that label. But
Mhm.
just the funny things that went on with these labels when they get involved, they're thinking about robbing the artists a lot of times.
Yeah.
That's how they make their money. That's how they function. They function off of taking from artists.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I've always had a problem with that.
Mhm. I understand that. I another thing I want to discuss is like the music that you done. Like Turn It Up was one of the first songs that caught my attention. And obviously Turn It Up was like a huge fucking party banger and personally one of my personal favorites.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man.
Mhm.
I'm gonna be doing a video for that this summer. This summer
Oh
we're doing a
shit.
video for Turn It Up. Yeah, it's gonna be dope.
Excellent. Perfect timing
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We're gonna try to have it done in May because the album is coming 5/5/25, May 5th, 2025. The album Thoughts of a King will be out. You're gonna be able to buy the LP,
Yeah.
the album. I'm gonna have the CDs. I'm gonna have the regular records that you can
Mhm.
buy. But yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, and I want to discuss your album. Like when I saw this on Instagram, I was very curious as to what it was, and I want to get like your opinion on this album. Like what exactly, like what even inspired the name for this album, anyways?
Well, Thoughts of a King is a play on my name,
Mhm.
A. King, but it's also just things that go through the head of somebody who's leading a family. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like a father, a husband. Even if you come from hard situations or a rough city, we all
Mhm.
don't think the same. And I
Yeah.
think in hip hop, they paint us as being one way. And they paint us as all thinking the same, doing the same thing. Even when you hear the phrase rapper, you already think what I'm going to speak about, what I'm going to be about. No, we're
Yeah.
grown men. And it's a way to make that fly. It's a way to talk about different things and not just have the same subjects on every album. Like, how many
Exactly.
times are we going to hear the same thing over and over? So, Thoughts of a King, not just about me, it's
Mhm.
about uh, other men that's out here thinking like me.
Yeah.
They're trying to do their best. They coming from nothing. They're trying to provide for their families. They're not out here doing nothing illegal. They're not
Mhm.
settling. They're not taking low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
We've learned from the people that come before us, and we're making better decisions. So making an album for not just myself, but the people that think like me. Because it's a lot of
Yeah.
people out here that think like me. They don't get albums made for them though.
Yeah,
Everybody's not
unfortunately.
doing the same thing, unfortunately, because hip hop likes to show us one way. Like,
Hmm.
oh, you do rap, you must be a thug, you must be a banger, you must be a drug dealer or a killer,
Yeah.
and that's not facts. Even where I'm from
Hmm.
South Central Los Angeles. Everybody that lives on the block is not a killer,
Yeah.
not a drug dealer. Everybody's not doing crime. You got men that go back and forth to work that's paying bills every day that you see. Mr.
Yeah.
Smith that live up the street, like you see regular people doing regular things in these
Yeah.
neighborhoods. And they don't get spoken for at all.
Hmm.
They like to show the worst of us. That's what
Exactly.
they like to show, the worst of us. So I want
Yeah.
to kind of change that up. That's
It's like,
my intention.
yeah, it's like you have everyone that's completely different. Like some people who are staying in their lane, staying with the humble life, and you have other people who like are going after dreams and going for like something creative with their lives. Like people who actually want to do more and be more than what they are.
Right. Absolutely. And those people need to be spoken for. And a lot of
Yeah.
times they haven't been. They're not being spoken for. Like everybody's not all about the flashy jewelry. Let me put on a million chains and look at my watch. Like, cause out here in the real world, living the real life don't
Mhm.
really matter. It don't
Exactly.
really matter, man. So I wanted this album to be not just only a reflection of where I am in my life, but a reflection of a lot of men that I know that
Yeah.
feel like they haven't been spoken for in hip hop like this.
Exactly.
I,
Exactly.
I have, Turn It Up will be on the album, Roses will be on the album. But I
Excellent.
really like if you listen to Roses,
Mhm.
very autobiographical type of song because everything I'm saying is 100% facts.
I
There's no
agree.
cut on that song.
I agree.
Everything
And
on it, everything in those three verses is
mhm.
100% real. And I want
Yeah.
to continue to do that. You know,
Yeah.
I want to make music that, when it's all said and done, that I can be proud of.
Mhm.
Thing.
Yeah, and I did react to that song, and everything about it was absolutely great. It's like the verses, the beat, the hook, like it was
Thank you so
all
much,
just
man.
very. It was great. Like I'm happy I reacted to it and checked the song out.
Yeah, hey, thank you for that. I seen that reaction video. It's so dope, man. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you took to the music, man. I'm glad it's been getting very well received. I could
Mhm.
tell, like even in the comments people leave, it's like, man, finally some real music, or man, I felt that.
Yeah.
I feel where you coming from. To me, that's more important than putting out a big hit and it flames out and it's gone
Yeah.
because there was nothing sustaining. It's not sustainable.
Yeah.
You can have fun with a fun record, but it comes and it goes. Those records that are real, they stay around a long time, and I
Mhm.
want to make that kind of music.
Exactly.
Uh, even being inspired by one of my favorite artists is Marvin Gaye. One of my favorite artists is Marvin Gaye. Someone who's written music that has stayed around through the test
Mhm.
of time because it was real. It was really how he felt. Even if you
Exactly.
listen to Hear My Dear, he created Hear My Dear because he got a divorce from his wife. And
Oh
he
shit.
and the judge said the next album, the judge said you had to take all of the earnings from the next album and give it to your ex-wife. So he went in the
Damn.
studio and he recorded Hear My Dear. That's how that album came to be. And if you listen to it, he's giving you the real on how he feels, the good, the bad. Like, I was just thoroughly impressed
Yeah.
with him and his work. And I'm like, when I make albums, I want it to be like that.
Yeah.
I want to show all sides of me. Because
Yeah.
sometimes you get angry. Sometimes you happy. Sometimes you turning it up with, with your family.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're reflecting. And I want to cover all of that with my music.
Yeah. And that's what I love about hip hop is that a lot of people can make a whole album feel like as if it's just one big story, and it's like every song is just one chapter, and it's great. It's like it's musical storytelling, and that's the beauty
Right.
of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm always inspired by artists who tell stories in their music,
Hmm.
whether it be, even like early Outcasts, the things they
Yeah.
would talk about and how they would paint pictures. The Art of Storytelling. If you listen to
Mhm.
that record, uh, that record is amazing. The
Yeah.
Art of Storytelling. Andre 3000's verse on that is
Mhm.
crazy, and he paints this picture. It's like, man, this is the greatness of hip hop. This is what it can be.
Yeah.
Don't just say, "Oh man, I'm just gonna use it. I just want to use it to get rich." Nah, this is an art form. We can
Exactly.
really make we can really make life changing music with this, and that's my
Exactly.
intention.
And that's exactly what Pac did with Got a Baby. That was the first
Brit-
record, and he wanted to tell a story.
And look, people are still talking about it.
Yeah.
Still talking about it. You bring up Brenda's Got a Baby. You can almost see the video when you say the title of the song. You can almost see
Exactly.
the tape. You can see him in the jacket, that big jacket. He's looking at that. Like you can almost see the video. And
Yeah.
that's crazy to me. After all these years, a song like that, people still, oh, Brenda's Got a Baby. Like, you don't know that record.
Yeah.
It's lasted the test of time. And it may not have been it's not a club record. It's not a dance record. It's none of
Yeah.
that. It's just a real record talking about real things. And I want to get back to that.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of hip hop we still don't talk about really. And I want to
Mhm.
kind of break away from that.
Yeah. And that's what he did with songs like "Good Girls" and it
I
was
appreciate that.
yeah. I think it was "Good Girls" and fuck. There was another song. Um,
The hard way.
"The Hard Way." Yeah. Like "Good Girls" and
And
"The
what's
Hard Way"
crazy,
were great.
wait till you see, like right around the time I turn to this album, you'll see how those two songs are kind of connected.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, because different experiences, when you coming up and you dealing with different women and you trying to figure things out, go bad.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're not honest enough as men as to why they go bad. Or you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like I want us to get back to being honest, get back to being real. You
Yeah.
know, so I'm really proud of both of those records. I
Mhm.
can't wait for people to see more visuals from this album because I'm definitely going to be doing a lot more visuals this year. Because once the album is out, I still want to be rolling out videos. This is not an album I'm just going to throw out and move on to something else. I'll be
Yeah.
recording music, getting ready for the next album, but visuals will come from this. A lot of
Yeah.
visuals and storytelling is going to come from this album.
And I want to talk about the storytelling with "The Hard Way." It's like you were talking about, uh, like what was going on with that song, like the whole inspiration behind it.
Oh, it was real life. I was dating someone when I was, what I mean? I was dating someone that was
Mhm.
a little crazy, and in my young ways, I had led her on.
Mm.
I led her on into believing that this was going to be more serious than I intended it to be to
Yeah.
get what I wanted.
Yeah.
So, and I ended up in a crazy situation. Now,
Mhm.
if you watch the video, haven't seen the Hard Way video, please go check it out. Please go see it. Shout out to Professional Hood Entertainment. Shout
Okay,
out
I'll
to
check it out.
everybody involved in the video. I really appreciate you guys. But if you haven't seen the video, go check it out.
Mhm.
It's like a play on almost a thin line between love and hate. But like I said, a lot of the stuff in that song more real than you think. I've
Yeah.
dealt with stuff and so if you listen to the song, it's based on a real relationship I had at one point.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's like it's upsetting how some relationships can just go sour like that. It's like I remember I was listening to a Tech Nine record how like the many love stories that people connected to him have all died because of love issues. It's like someone either took their life or took their life and someone else's, or someone else lost their life because of a jealous person. It's like it's upsetting how
Absolutely.
love can be.
Yeah. And it's a very delicate thing because we don't know what mental space people are in.
Mhm.
Um, Mental health is not the greatest. And
Yeah.
sometimes when you love a person or when you with a person, sometimes you're the person giving them hope. You're the
Exactly.
person, that's keeping them going. And if they lose that they feel like they've lost a reason to live, or they lose all their momentum, and it's more hurtful than people may know or realize. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a very delicate situation. And as you get older, you know not to play around with stuff like that. It's better to be open and honest and transparent
Yeah.
rather than lie leading someone because you
Hmm.
don't know where their head is.
Yeah, because
Like in the hard way, it can
yeah,
lead you into a compromising situation if you ain't careful.
yeah. I mean, it's like us males, we have like a tendency to act macho and all that stuff, but it's like deep down, we're still very fragile people that want like some kind of soft, tender, like intimacy with people, and a lot of times that gets completely fucked with and damaged.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And sometimes it's of our own doing sometimes, but
Hmm.
still, like you just said, human beings with feelings. And no matter
Yeah.
how macho you try to act or tough
Hmm.
you want to portray, you still a human being with feelings. And even if we do mess it up, we could be really hurt behind that. Like, man, I messed up something with this person that I really
Yeah.
got a lot of love for, and I don't know if that relationship could ever be repaired to where it was. And
Yeah.
it may be my fault, but I'm still hurt behind it. I'm
Hmm.
not right. And so, like you said, a lot of people go off the deep end based on
Yeah.
relationships and how they end. So yeah, and I think us as a hip hop community
Hmm.
talk about that stuff because we
Yeah.
all want to pretend super players. We got women everywhere.
Yeah.
This girl that. I'm in the club. Like, dude, like after a certain point, okay, that can be you in your 20s, maybe your early 30s. But come on, at a certain
Hmm.
point, we have to start taking the culture somewhere else. We
Exactly.
can't just live and die in the club. This art form was built to be bigger than that,
Yeah.
bigger than that. And if we don't realize that, keep making disposable art, they just come and go.
Yeah. I mean, I'd imagine that you have your issues, but it's like you're happily married and you have three daughters. And honestly, that's amazing. It's
I've
like,
been with my wife since I've been with my wife since 2004, to be honest.
mhm. Yeah, I
I've
saw
been with
that
my
clip.
wife since 2004, so I love her. I'm glad she's been by my side through all these
Mhm.
trials and tribulations. And
Yeah.
not everything is perfect, but no relationship is. You don't have a perfect
Nope.
relationship with anybody. So I don't understand why people get into relationships and think, because you're with someone that is supposed to be perfect, when a lot of people don't even have a perfect relationship with their mama, with their brother,
Exactly.
with their sisters, their perfect relationships don't
Exactly.
exist. And I think, men and women sometimes we could be a little, just
Hmm.
our head in the clouds, thinking, oh, what I mean? Our head is in the
Yeah.
clouds. The perfect person is going to come, and we're not going to have no arguments. We're going to see everything the same. It's not the truth. It's not the
Yeah.
truth.
It's
So
false.
yeah, you're going to have to do some work. You're going to I don't care who you date, who you getting with. There's going to be work to do.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
guarantee.
Yeah. It's like, it's funny because, like, even with J Lo and fucking Ben Affleck, it's like clearly their fucking relationship is very rocky. So it's like
Right.
there's no such thing as perfect relationships or relationships with no arguments. It's not
No.
real.
And the grass always looks greener on the other side. So you're going to see people, and I'm not just talking about J Lo and Ben, but you're going to see people
Hmm.
hopping from relationship to relationship
Yeah.
because they think in their head, oh, it's something greater over there, something greater over there. But the same work that you're unwilling to do in this
Hmm.
relationship is going to be waiting on you when you get in the next relationship. So that's why you see a lot of people just bouncing around because they don't really want to do the work.
Yeah.
Never going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. You
Yeah.
might as well stay single. Really,
Right.
do the work. You might as well just be by yourself, and don't try to get married or engaged or anything like that because it's going to be work. You're not getting around it.
Yeah. Don't want to get into arguments? Then fucking stay single. Can't argue with yourself that way.
Man, stay single. Don't try because I don't care who you get with. They're not going to be a duplicate of you.
Exactly.
Like they're gonna have their own thoughts. They have their own way that they grew up and was raised. And
Yeah.
if you really want the relationship to work, you have to take that into consideration.
Exactly.
It's not always gonna be perfect. It's not always gonna be flowers and candy and
Mm.
date nights and like those are they happen, but it's not all the time. Like
Yeah.
I think our perception of relationships is what's killing a lot of relationships. I really believe
Exactly.
that. Our perceptions of it. We have these fantasies and these TV shows and probably movies that people didn't grew up on, and it's
Yeah.
not real. It's not reality.
It's all Hollywood shit.
Like we falling for the Hollywood stuff out here, man. It's like, and then you got people that watch these little relationship podcasts and stuff.
Hmm.
Be honest, we be laughing at stuff like that because it's no, we laugh at it because I'm like, with my wife since
Hmm.
2004.
Hmm.
I don't know everything.
Yeah.
I don't know everything. No one does. So for
Yeah.
me to come at you and try to tell you exactly about how all women are,
Hmm.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
All women are different. Women are different.
Yeah.
You can't just put a blanket statement on a woman. And the same with men. That's why these relationship podcasts, I laugh at them. I'm like, oh man, they don't
Yeah.
know what they really talking about. It's just like something to argue about. But
Yeah.
nah.
And I'm sorry if it seems personal, but it's like I'm actually very curious as to how you and your wife met. It's like I'm very curious, like how that even happened.
Oh, you want to know
Like if
something
you don't
funny?
mind, I
So
ask.
me being from I don't mind. Me being from LA,
Uh-huh.
right? And, her family's military.
Okay.
She lived in another part of California.
Mm.
She lived in Oxnard, California at the time. And
Mm.
they had a base called Port Hueneme that she lived on. And it was a club in Ventura, California, which is closer to Oxnard, California. So a
Mm.
friend of mine was in the military. He knew he was on the base too. I
Mm.
knew him from LA.
Oh,
He was
okay.
in LA with me at the time. We were going clubbing. He drives me all the way to Ventura, and I met my wife at the club in Ventura,
uh,
California. Nickel B's nightclub. Shout out to Nickel
mm.
B's, even though it's no more. I
Oh,
think they
damn.
tore it down. It's a bookstore or something now. But yeah, Nickel
Okay.
B's nightclub.
Damn, that's really dope.
Yeah.
I like when I was reading your backstory, like I've noticed that you also got awards for like a whole bunch of performances and stuff. Like, how exactly did those even happen?
Sometimes it's about who hears your music.
Mm.
Sometimes you can submit for them. Sometimes my wife will submit stuff for me. She'll be like, okay, this may be something good. And they'll hear the
Mm.
music compared to people's music. Uh,
Mhm.
I won a couple awards in Ventura. I was out there with, shout out to Chuck D,
Mhm.
performing at some of his showcases. I was able to meet him, and he mentored me and everything. Incredible individual, Chuck D from Public Enemy. Shout out to you.
Oh,
And
that's
and
dope.
so I got a lot of advice from him. Go out there and just perform at these different open mics and stuff, and ended up winning some awards, man.
That's incredible.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah. On Instagram, when I was looking through your profile, I noticed that you've done freestyles, which all of them are absolutely enjoyable, especially
Thank
like
you.
in the many locations that you freestyle
Appreciate that, man.
at.
I got more coming too. Y'all stay tuned. I got more coming with that.
Yeah. check out his Instagram. He has a lot of really dope stuff, freestyles in different places. But you also have a thing called Motivational Mondays. It's like
Yeah,
you,
I'm bringing that back too.
yeah. It's like what even made you want to do Motivational Mondays, especially like making it a continuous thing.
My bad. My bad. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, so the reason I wanted to do Motivational Monday is because sometimes I feel like Monday we need a little pep talk. We need a little, something that's going to boost us up and get our mind in the right space. Sometimes, people are working jobs, they're going to school, and sometimes those
Yeah.
things can be very, you know, bring you down sometimes. People,
Mhm.
it's a such things called the Sunday scaries, and people are laying
Mhm.
down at night on Sunday, like, dang, I gotta go to school tomorrow. Dang, I gotta go to work. Oh man, I don't feel like doing this.
Dragging
This
for
I
another
did
week.
exactly. So I started doing it just to motivate not just other people, but myself included, because sometimes I need it.
Mm. Yeah.
Sometimes I need that boost of energy, and just after doing it a couple of times and getting a few people's reactions, how it helped them and
Mhm.
different things like that, I kept it going. But I will be bringing it back. I'm excited to announce that I will be bringing Motivational Mondays back. But and just sharing some of my life experiences, hoping it can help somebody else. Not saying I know everything, but just taking
Mhm.
what I've experienced and the things that I feel and sharing it with other
Mhm.
people. Like, you're not by yourself. You're not alone.
Yeah.
Don't let the mundane process of you going to work or going to school bring you down, because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
you're working towards something. At the end of the day, you applied for that job, and some people applied for that job and they didn't get it. You were
Yeah.
grateful, you know what I mean? You were blessed enough to get that job. You may not like doing it all the time, but hey, it's a way to pay your bills while you're
Mhm.
probably working on something else, working on your side hustle, working on being an entrepreneur. You got to do what
Yeah.
you got to do till you can do what you want to do. So yeah,
Exactly.
that's really why I came up with it, just to help other people, man. Just to help other
Yeah.
people, give them a boost of energy.
Yeah. I agree, and that's really incredible because we all need a little motivational boost. I mean, especially like on the first day of the week.
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely, man. And once I do it, it makes me feel better too. Not saying I do it just for selfish reasons, but it does
Mhm.
make me feel better once I do it, and just getting it off my chest, like, man, because me saying it also reminds me that, man, be grateful. Be
Yeah.
grateful, stay grateful. Every downfall is not the end of the world. We
Mm.
all go through bad stuff. Every day it's not gonna be sunny. You gotta take the ups and the downs, baby. You gotta deal
Yeah.
with the ups and the downs. But the main thing is for people to know and understand you're not by yourself. You're
Yeah.
not by yourself, my bad. So
Mhm. No, that sounds
that's
good.
really the reason I wanted to do that.
Yeah. And obviously, it's like we all find peace doing something that we enjoy, and it's like I love bringing guests onto the podcast because I feel like I'm giving everyone the opportunity to just speak for themselves, tell their own stories, and like just really have the floor to say whatever they want. And it's like it makes me absolutely happy bringing guests on because everyone has a story, everyone has their like lives that they want to share, and that's the beauty of doing what I do because I want to entertain people, but I also want everyone to feel like, hey, I have a story and I want to share it, and that's what I love
Absolutely.
doing.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you for being patient. We were supposed to do this yesterday. My schedule got crazy. I appreciate your patience, man. Because I woke
Yeah,
up this morning. I hit you early this morning. I was like, man, I want to get I want to do this today. Let's get it done. But
yeah,
I really appreciate you and your platform, man. Keep doing what you're
hmm,
doing. You sharing people's story.
yeah,
You never know how many people you're helping at the same
yeah,
time. And a lot of times we get blinded by the amount of numbers, especially with music. You
hmm,
checking, oh, how many people this and how many people are that. But
yeah,
I don't think we're supposed to do that. I think that's a very capitalistic way to look at the
hmm,
art you're making. how many people, like, how many people lives are you touching? You
Yeah.
understand? Like, how many people are you really connecting to? I would rather do that. And that's what
Mhm.
you're doing with your podcast. You're connecting to people. And sometimes people can get discouraged because of the numbers. Whether you got an Instagram page you're trying to grow, a
Mhm.
TikTok, whatever it is, and oh man, I ain't get this many likes. So, oh man, this many people ain't
Yeah.
following me. And we can get blinded, discouraged by it. But I don't think
Yeah.
we should do that because that's not really what it's about.
Yeah.
Not really what it's about. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. But
Yeah.
we just gotta keep putting our best foot forward, and keep, as long as our intentions are right, everything else will
Mhm.
work itself out. I really believe that.
I agree. It's like sometimes I get so sidetracked, like, ah, shit, this episode didn't get as many plays as the previous episode, and it's like I have a habit of looking at the stats and everything, and it's like, well, I mean, at least like one listen is better than none, really.
Man, and you don't know whose life you're changing in that one listen. It could be
Exactly.
5, it could be 10. Like, for somebody listening, hey, let's keep it rolling. It could grow from there. Maybe it'll get to
Exactly.
6 next time. Maybe it'll get to 7. Let's go. And as long as we have that attitude and mindset, hey,
Mm-hmm.
we can't be stopped.
Yeah. It's funny because when I started this podcast, like the only place that listened to it was just El Paso, and it's like just recently I found out that fucking people in Germany and Mexico are listening to it, and it's like
Crazy.
it blows me away how many people listen.
That's amazing, man. Like, we have
Mhm.
no clue. But if you would have got discouraged after your first one or your second
Mhm.
one, the people in Germany probably would have never heard it. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
it's about just doing it and
Yeah.
just keep doing it. Like, I do music not because I want to be Drake or not because I want to be
Yeah.
the top dude. I do it from the heart because I love it. It's what I think about.
Yeah.
It's what I wake up thinking about songs and doing music and listening to samples. Like, it's always on my mind. I could easily
Yeah.
spend my time doing something else. But I
Yeah.
think we owe it to ourselves to do what we love. We owe
Yeah.
it to ourselves to do what we love and let
I
it be what
agree.
it's going to be.
Yeah. One more thing I want to talk about is your song on the movie soundtrack. Let me see what it was real quick. I fucking had it. Walk is sick for
Six.
the movie. Yeah. How did that even happen? It's like,
Shout out. Okay, so shout out to Brian Bostic.
mm,
Brian actually directed the video for the hard way. He actually
mm,
directed the video for the hard way. He wrote the
okay.
treatment. All of that was him.
Hmm.
The movie producer, incredible. If you haven't seen Watch Your Six,
Hmm.
go follow Professional Hood Entertainment. I think it's up on streaming. I want to say it's on Tubi. Watch Your
Okay.
Six. Go check it out. Like, oh man, it's a trip. It's a thriller. It's a dope movie. And he asked me,
Okay.
it was about a cop in LA. He asked me to write the title song for it. I'm like, okay. So he
Hmm.
sent me the script, and that's where the song comes from. If
Uh,
you listen to the lyrics, and once you watch the movie, it'll all make sense because I basically just read the movie script and I was like, okay,
yeah.
got the beat together, and
Hmm.
man, I'm proud of it. He said when he premiered it, a friend of mine went to the premiere. He was like, man, people was reciting that song, leaving the movie theater. So I was just grateful to be a part of it, man. I was just grateful to
Yeah.
be a part of it. But we worked together a lot. I actually went to high school, graduated high school with Brian. So
Oh
the fact
shit.
that he's still doing, yeah, we graduated, went to school together. We started doing music in high school because
Hmm.
he used to record. This is a fact people don't know. He was
Hmm.
my first engineer.
Mm.
He was my
All
first
right.
engineer. When I first started writing music, Brian had a setup at his grandmother's house, and he lived
Mm.
down the street from me in LA. Go catch the bus to his house, and he would let me record songs for free, and he would engineer them for me, the whole nine. So shout out to B. You know what I
Mm.
mean? I'm very proud of his progress. He's doing his thing, man. He's killing it.
That's incredible. Man, it's like Sir, you had like probably one of the most eventful and also like interesting life, and it's like everything that you've been through and your music, your craft. It's like honestly, I'm really happy that I requested you to be on this podcast.
Oh man, I'm glad to be able to do it, man. I'm glad to be on your podcast. Thank you for the support, man. I'm glad I could be on here sharing about,
No
you
problem.
know, some of my experiences and share with people about the
Hmm.
music. Everybody stay tuned. 5525. Put it in your phone. The album will
Yep,
be out. You know, it'll be ways to support it other than streaming. I'll have a couple songs on the actual streaming services, but I will be selling this album and I guarantee you it will be worth it. I will tell you that. This album will be worth it. I'm going to see to it that you're going to enjoy it. And I'm excited. I'm very excited about it. So stay
same
tuned.
here.
Thoughts of a King, Antwon King.
That's exciting, man. Honestly, this was an absolutely enjoyable episode. And again, man, thank you for agreeing to this. We've been planning this for a while, and we finally got it done.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Everybody, follow me on Instagram, Antwon
Yep,
King Music, ANTWONKING Music,
yeah,
akingsmusic.com. That's my official website. You can go see all my videos out right now. Hear a lot of my music on there. You can even support and buy the music from the actual
exactly.
website, akingsmusic.com. And man, Cody, thank you so much for your time, man. Really appreciate
No
it.
problem, man. I'll have your Spotify and your website all linked and everything down below. But honestly, man, it's
Perfect.
like anytime you want to come back again in the future, I'm always down for it.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely be back because I'm gonna be out soon, so I'll definitely be back on. We're gonna talk more.
Absolutely. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Let me know what y'all think. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. I'm out. Peace.